At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Central Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 501-244-3667, or visit our website at directserviceoverhead.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.
There we go. Microphone was not connecting. OBS is acting up. Give me just a second. I'll be right back. We got to celebrate. We're doing something little. We're bringing something back today on this on Friday. We're bringing a little OG. We're bringing some old stuff back. Hang on just a second. Give me a minute. BRB. All right, I hope you guys are ready for this. 3, 2, 1. Yo! What's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere? Welcome. It's Flamingo Friday. That's what it is. We brought it back. It's back. Look at that. The drip. Respect the drip, Karen. Look at what we got going on here. Huh? Yeah, ain't nobody else doing this. Huh? Do me a favor. Like, share, subscribe. Sharing is caring. You guys know that. Look at the glasses match the outfit. Shout out to Tim. They're little. I got some finger marks, some smudges here on the glasses here. Let me clean those off. Let me clean them off so the drip can be properly represented. I'm not lying to you. I've probably got like 4 different pairs of shades. And I wear a different pair almost every other day when I go to camp, when I go to the fall camps. Hey, man, styling and profiling. You got to stand out one way or another, right? All right, here we go. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. Okay. Welcome. Shout out to Patreon supporters. You guys, this is your show now. I want you to know that. This is your show. Well, starting next month. This is your show. Look at you guys. We lost a few. There's been, it is what it is. I hope some people, hope you guys, if you haven't joined and you've thought about it, maybe you'll consider it. We got a super chat, $5 super chat from Cade. What odds would you give Cincinnati to beat Arkansas week 1? Well, that's kind of worded oddly here, Cade. I mean, I already have my too early out, and in my too early pick, I have Arkansas beating Cincinnati. Does that change when we do the more permanent stuff? Maybe. I don't know, man. I'm back and forth on Cincinnati. I really am. I'm so back and forth on those guys. Them and BYU. I went from thinking that Arkansas was going to smash Cincinnati to now believing, hold up, okay, maybe not. But then tomorrow I'll wake up, I'll think about it all night, and I'm like, no, wait, hold on, man. Look at all they lost. BYU's a different story. And the closer we get to Cincinnati game week, well, we're going to unfold it. The official wins and losses columns, right? Or the wins and losses column. Where do I stack up with the rest of these games? Ty, where did the Hogs land in recruiting class polls? Where did they land? I mean, it's still going on, Hog Dog. Fall camp fall camp is just fall camp, right? The class signing period starts mid or when you can officially sign is mid-December. Unless they changed it this year, you have what used to be known as early signing period, ESP, which now it's basically just the beginning of signing period. But you have like 3 days where you can sign, or 3 or 4 days where you're allowed to sign, quote unquote, early. If you choose not to sign in December, typically it's in the middle of December, then you have until you can't sign. You have that time, right, those few days. And then you go into the end of or the end of the first week of February, typically February 7th or 8th, somewhere in there. Then that starts the final signing period, right? So we haven't landed anywhere. Right now they're hovering around, I think, the top 15. We're getting there. Ty got the Flamingo drip. That's right, baby. We brought it back. Flamingo Friday has returned. That is correct. Arkansas has something to prove this upcoming season. I think they'll leave the gate. Let's see. I think they'll leave the gate swinging and accumulate some ridiculous momentum carrying into the season. Yeah. So, shout out to our show's sponsor, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. My boy Travis, who might be slapping on a new garage door for me. If he does, if we can work something out, I might get some footage of his boys doing work and show off this new garage door I'm having installed. I think we're going to pull the trigger on it. I think we're going to have it done. But we're not here without them. We're not here without Direct Service Overhead. They offer same-day services, 100 to 5-star reviews, better than best results, quality parts, free estimates. Give them a call today. 501-244-3667. Again, that's 501-244-3667. And I already mentioned you awesome Patreon supporters. Please consider. Chat it up, man. Throw some questions my way. Questions or comments, fire away. I have been at fall camp. Obviously, I'm not there today. The media is probably being allowed in right now, even though it says 2:50 on the timesheet. They've been letting the media in unexpectedly a little early, so they're probably getting in there today. I don't know who they're talking to today. Oh, they're talking to Michael Schur, linebacker coach. I'm unable to go today, so we're doing the live. Let's scroll up here, read chat. They have zero chance, in my opinion. I wouldn't say zero, Dirty. I know we want to put on the hog glasses a little bit, right? But I definitely wouldn't say they have zero chance. No, I disagree with that. I think Cincinnati is going to be pretty tough. But I've been so back and forth on this game where I think Arkansas. My first initial look when breaking down my two early wins and losses, I had Arkansas blowing these guys out of the water. I had them plus like 16. Well, no, I take that back. It was 13. Arkansas would lead by as much as 16, but Cincinnati maybe kind of chipping away at that in the fourth, and then maybe a late field goal or whatever. I think it's going to be a ball game. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I mean, it's still, we don't know what we don't know. We're still trying to get through fall camp. Today actually marks the end of their actual camp. Right, they had to report last Thursday, but then camp actually started Friday. So today is that week. They were given a break on Wednesday, and then they went full pads yesterday. Yesterday was the first day for full pads. There is some footage on Hogville Net YouTube. Shout out to Hogville Net, Hogville.net. Great coverage there. Kevin McPherson with basketball, Otis Kirk and Dudley Dawson doing football. Dudley obviously is also the baseball guy too. And you know he's a smart baseball fan because he's a Cardinal fan. So that's how you test somebody's IQ right there, their baseball IQ. Oh, did you say Cubs fan? Oh, you're a little lower on the baseball IQ. Ooh. Oh, Cardinal fan. Oh, then you're up here. Arkansas has something to prove. Yeah, they do. I agree with that. They do have something to prove. KJ Heisman year, says Cobra. Boy, it'd be nice to see that, right? Never say never. Or to word it better, in your opinion, what's a sort of middle of the road record for you? Not bolstering them too high, but also not dragging them. So you want like a mediocre. Well, I mean, like I said, I think their ceiling, and I still believe this to this day, I think their ceiling, if they're good enough to win 10, they're good enough to win 11. Considering this strength of schedule, considering who they got to play, considering who, who's coming back this year and who they're dealing with. You've got a couple schools that you still don't know what's going on with their quarterback situation. That's usually not a good sign. Arkansas returning someone like KJ Jefferson. Kendall Briles, for the first time ever, is getting the same quarterback for 2 years straight. So we're going to get to see what that looks like. Anyone who's followed Kendall Briles' career, and I haven't, a little bit. Obviously, when he was hired on here, you looked into what he was doing, or I did. But I know one thing: he's never had a back-to-back starting quarterback return, and so that's a good deal. And no one's seen that from Kendall, so we really don't know. We really don't know how Kendall. I mean, it can't be worse than last season. And I think last year we can all agree was mostly a good year for the offense. Yeah, you're minus Treylon Burks, right? You're minus Treylon Burks. But we're going to talk about the receiving room. We're going to talk about what's going on and what I've seen in camp, what's kind of been talked around in camp, and mostly kind of focus on the offense on this one. The defense, I don't know. It's hard when you're only given 20, 25 minutes and you can only watch certain groups for X amount of time. Defensive line's a little busted up. And we're also gonna get to that. How late am I? You're really late. You're so late. Marcus Murdoch wants to know basketball question. After coming out like gangbusters in the first game, what do you think about all the turnovers in game 2? So I didn't get a chance to finish off game 2. I had to leave. I left the game running here at home. For those of you who are in our Discord, okay. I'm trying not to. I don't. Let's just say if you're in our Discord, you had an opportunity to watch that game. I guess the stream messed up. I don't know what happened. I don't know if my computer went to power off mode maybe, and it messed up the stream. I don't know what happened, but I didn't get a chance to watch, and I haven't been able to watch the rest of what I missed. I got to watch like the first 15 minutes or so, and there were a lot of turnovers. I think someone said there were 22 turnovers. I know the lines on the floor probably played a role in that. That was very confusing. I couldn't imagine what that's like being on the floor. They had to, you got to know where the white lines are. You got to know where you got to have a nose for the white lines, like Hunter Biden. Oh, he just went there. I was told yesterday to not get political. I made a joke on Twitter about Hunter Biden, and someone got so offended by a Hunter Biden joke. My God. Don't drag politics into this. And then he tagged Hogville. Off a harmless Hunter Biden joke about lines, so many lines on the floor, more than Hunter Biden's ever seen in his life. I didn't vote for Trump, and I didn't vote for Joe Biden. Relax. I'm not on team red or blue. I like making fun of them all because they're all politicians and they all suck. Golly. I'm going to tag Hogville. I'm going to unsupport you or unsubscribe. Get a life. And then he deleted his tweets and he then refollowed me. So, if you can't joke about politicians, that's a problem. Right? Gonna get canceled, I know. White lines. We had a quarterback who liked those. Maybe that should have been the joke. More lines than, well, we won't go there. How's it going, Ty? I love the glasses. I need your best Macho Man impersonation. What's up, Tarl? What's up, man? You changed your name, bro. Right as I rarely talk politics here, and then you come in here as I'm busting out a Hunter Biden joke. Oh, yeah. Listen here. Is that close? Oh, yeah. Snap it to a Slim Jim. Yes, sir. Great timing. Hope you're doing well, Tarl. Yeah, the 20-something turnovers is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But it is. It's. You have to look at it as it was a glorified scrimmage. And we saw bits and pieces of that in game one. Now they said that the SID for Arkansas counted 11 turnovers. Now I counted like 14, and that's still too many, right? And then you turn around and you have 20-something turnovers in this one. I don't know, man. These guys were better, though, so you got to cut them some slack. Who really loves taking pictures of... Oh, gosh. Okay. I will say, though, Ty, Jim was absolutely blistering from what I have heard. Yeah, kind of difficult to get in groove when you're borderline having a heat stroke. And you think about, too, the sweat on the palms of your hands. It's just hard to judge. It's hard to judge, right? It's difficult to judge. Just don't make it a habit of it. If it's every game, you got 2 games left. They've got game 3 on, tomorrow at 12:30, and we're going to do a post-game for that. No pregame, but we are doing a post-game for that. And then the final game, assuming this doesn't change, I think it's actually at 12. Not 12:30. Has the U of A come out and clarified that? Kevin McPherson, I think, said it was actually at 12, not 12:30. And that'll be on the 15th. That's on Monday. That'll be the final game on their European tour. Do you think Pittman has an obligation to get some of his younger O-line players extra playing time, given how veteran laden his O-line is? The next year it's going to be all of them. I don't know, Tony. Maybe it's possible. I don't know. He's not afraid to redshirt, and he's not afraid to go borderline with that red shirt. He'll play someone exactly the amount of time they're allowed to before they burn their red shirt. But Hunter would be fun to hang out with. Man, I guess. I don't know. You know him better than I do, apparently. I have no idea. What's up, Ty? What's up, Brian Jones? How you doing? I seem to be focusing on moving the ball inside, which was also a big problem last year. Those alley-oops are ridiculous. Yeah, they play above the rim really well, don't they? Again, Kev McPherson has you covered over on hogville.net, man. He's got you covered with all that stuff. I have not touched base with him yet. I'm going to talk to him probably tomorrow a little bit before we go live to get kind of caught up on what happened yesterday. But all right, so what's going on with Razorback football so far in this camp, guys? What's going on? What do you think? Based on what you've heard, what you've read, what you've seen, the footage that's out there. We've been posting stuff on Hogville.net, YouTube, and if you also look on Hogville.net, I'm trying my best. You got to realize I've never done anything like this before, where I'm like trying to video players and not knowing really where to be at all times, and then not knowing where you're allowed to be too is a little challenging. So sometimes you kind of get stuck in the same corner and you're trying to get as much footage as you can. There's some more stuff out there, and our photographer, John, does a great job. So if you see any of those pictures, they're typically from him. I've posted some of what I've caught, but John blows me out of the water. It's not even close. So far in this camp, injuries are really stacking up. Injuries to the defensive line are stacking up. Torrin Carter, we know, is out for a portion of the season, probably majority of the season. Marcus Miller, he's going to miss the rest of fall camp. They're going to have to go in and clean up his knee. And then Cam Ball and Taylor Lewis both had concussion. They had to go through concussion protocols. Cam Ball's missed a little bit more time. They treat those, I guess it's just based on what symptoms they're showing. And if they keep showing that they have symptoms from the concussion, they keep them out. Other than that, I would love to know what the actual concussion protocol is. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. NCAA probably has its own, here are the guidelines, here's what you're supposed to do. And then every school probably goes by that rule, and then they have kind of their own set of rules that they want to go by that also are in line with the NCAA. But the defensive line, man, you kind of wonder what's going on there. They're thinning out, and that's not good. It's not good to have guys that are missing the rest of fall camp. Marcus Miller, who Sam Pittman said it was practicing pretty well up until that point through fall camp. Said he had a good, I think, 3 or 4 days of camp, was really pushing, and then he runs into some issues with his knee. He is expected to be back. Miller will be back for Cincinnati, but you got to ask, is he going to be good to go? Is Marcus Miller going to be good to go? I don't know, man. He was already kind of, he's on the back end of the depth chart. I get it. But at this point, when you're kind of racking up some injuries and concussions and whatnot, and you've already lost TC, you have to kind of ask, the question has to be asked, like what exactly is going on with the defensive line? How are they going to look? What's the, we still got a little ways to go, right? We've still got 2 more weeks. Man, you still got 2 weeks before you even get into Cincinnati prep week. So you still got a long ways to go. And the most important thing that you get out of fall camp, the most important thing is coming out of it healthy, right? We got a little bit more on the defensive line. Terry Hampton, the Arkansas State transfer from El Dorado, his name has been brought up a couple times. Sam Pittman said he's more or less, not verbatim, but he's stepping up. Terry Hampton's been a pretty big deal. Players have mentioned that. They're also really the guys on defense are excited to have Dorian Gerald back. Dorian Gerald, who's now 37 years old, is I kid. I couldn't help myself. No, he's not 37, but he's been around for a minute. Now, he was a JUCO, all right? It's not like he came in as a freshman and then, but for a guy that age, just stick it out. Look, he could have walked away, chose not to. And then Nico Davalier, or as I've been calling him, Nico Davier, is another guy Pittman bragged about yesterday, saying he's coming on a little bit. That's pretty good. Nico's a guy that I think everyone thought was a little underrated out of high school. It's good to hear his name getting brought up. Look, and this is kind of the benefit, and I hate to say this. I shouldn't say benefit either, but this is the good side, if there is such a thing, of guys in front getting a little banged up. Gives other younger guys the opportunity, and again, Pittman's talked about that before, where you're giving younger guys the opportunity to step up. And Nico apparently has taken that on. So defense, there's been some questions about Dwight McGlothern. From what I understand, I think he was rolling with the 2s and 3s a little bit. Folks were thinking, well, why isn't he in the one-on-one drills or the some of the other stuff that they do? Why isn't he working with the 1s? From what I understand, the expectation, and this is coming from some other media folk, the expectation is he's going to be DB1. He's going to be a corner. He's going to be a starter. Now, I for myself, I don't know. At this point, I would think if you're not working with the 1s in all aspects, there's got to be something going on there. Hudson Clark, outside of having his ankles broken by Warren Thompson yesterday, has had a pretty strong fall camp. He is and I've been saying this since his first year here, since he stepped out and has had some big moments, in one particular phenomenal game that's kind of hard to forget considering his age and considering he was a walk-on at the time. But I've been saying the guy is a liability in man coverage because he does not have the speed. He does not have it, and I think he knows that. The other DBs know that. The staff knows that. I think they've, they get it, but he is a high IQ DB. He knows where to be, especially when they're doing when they're playing some zone. When they have him backed up in zone, backed off in coverage a little bit, he could be a ball hawk. He makes you pay, and he made KJ pay. Day one, he picked KJ off, and I don't know. Media didn't get to see it, and based on kind of what they said, I thought at first, well, maybe this was on Hazelwood. Hazelwood kind of broke off the route. Sounds like now, talking to some other people, it actually was on KJ. But it was more on – it wasn't necessarily on KJ. Let me reword that. It was just a great play by Hudson Clark. It's odd how we're like, man, this guy anywhere else in the SEC, would he actually start? But then, you're not hearing a lot about McGlothern. You're not hearing a lot about Brenny. Now, Brenny, there could be a different situation going on there as well, considering the position and everything. But like you're hearing about Hudson Clark, man. Now he got broken half. If you guys haven't watched it, I think Pig Trail Nation has it on their Twitter. Go back and watch. I mean, what a route. What a play by Warren Thompson, man. I mean, it was great. He rest in peace to that dude's ankles. Poor Hudson Clark and his ankles. But, yeah. So, the defense, there's a lot of questions with the DBs still. But we've heard Sam Pittman. He said this back in the spring. I feel good about being too deep at every position in the secondary, which is, that's saying something. And they've kind of reiterated that a little bit this fall camp. Let me get to questions here really quick or comments. Would like to see Nick Smith. Don't understand how Trevon Brazil, blah, 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 blah. You hold back on what you know. What are you talking about? You got to be more specific, Monterio. I don't know what you're talking about, my man. My guy. Oh, Bob Holt, the OG. I saw that. Yeah, he didn't know what an OG was. That was pretty funny. Oh, that was pretty funny, for sure. Yeah. Hudson Clark, come on. He had a great game, but he ain't it, says Marcus Murdoch. Well, I mean, then who else is? Because if the staff feels like he's been the guy and they keep putting him in rotation or they keep putting him at the 1s and 2s, clearly they think he's the guy. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a battle with the DBs on those practices and what you see. Well, again, we only get 20 minutes. They really don't give you a lot of time. And also, other people in the media have talked about this. They're opening the gates. You have an email, right? Everyone in the media that's allowed, you have full credentials. You're allowed to go into the gates, right? I'm one of those people. And I have the sheet, the media availability sheet. It says 250. says 250 on that media availability sheet. You'll walk up at 2:40, and that gate apparently has been open for 10 minutes. So they're opening the gates. They're not really telling the media, oh, by the way, and I'm not, look, I mean, they're doing their own thing, right? That's fine. They don't have to, U of A doesn't have to accommodate the media, and I'm not asking them to at all. But for me, though, as someone new kind of walking into this, it's like, when should I show up? Should I just show up at 2 o'clock? If I'm able to. The problem is I'm not always able to do that. So that's more on me than it is anybody. But, yeah, so you're getting if you're lucky, you get a full 20 minutes, right? A full 20, 25 minutes. If I'm lucky, I should say. So, yeah, it's hard to get everything. It's hard to soak it all in. And then you're trying to figure out, well, where do I need to go? I caught some awesome footage of some of the stuff that they were doing. Again, it is posted on Hogville if you want to go watch it. I kind of put 2 or 3 videos together and put them out on Hogville Net. Neighbors had a solid pod episode on Clark. Dude isn't a game breaker, but he's a solid defender and one we need this season. I think he's just a high IQ guy. That's what I think's going on with him. I'm sure, as far as a high IQ defensive back is what I'm trying to say. A guy that just understands where to be. He's going to get beat. We know that. He's going to get beat, and typically it's out of man coverage. We know this. It's not surprising. It's going to happen. And when that happens, the first thing everybody says is, nope, see, he's terrible. But then you've got to accommodate for what he does with the rest of the game. And there have been games where he's been picked on. I can't remember. Was it Ole Miss last year? It just seemed like they were picking on him left and right. I'm sure you watch the late kick. I don't. I'm going to be real honest with you. You guys, I don't really watch I don't watch Josh Pate. I've seen some of his stuff. I know people that know him. I talk to people who are on the phone with him from time to time, and I'm sure he's a good guy, has a great show. I'll be honest. I see some of the clips here and there, but no, I don't really watch Josh Pate. But he said yesterday's episode that Drew Sanders' first day on being with the ones, why so late? Yeah, that is true. If you are in our Patreon, if you are in the Tusk Talk Patreon, you need to go read that page. I'm dropping some stuff over there before I say it anywhere else. It's in that Patreon page. Recruiting hasn't been updated because we're kind of right now I think they're only going to fill 2 spots. And then we're going to get into the transfer portal later on. But if you are a Patreon supporter and you're in our Discord, go look at – that's what I should have specified. I apologize. Make sure you're in our Discord. Make sure your Discord is linked to Patreon and go check out that page. It's hidden. Only you can see it. And I talked about Drew Sanders. Now, maybe I said that publicly. Did I say that on the public page or did I say that on the Patreon page? Yeah, I did. I said it in the Patreon. Some of the big, and this is what I said on Patreon. I think the biggest, well, there was a lot that I posted there, but I said I think the biggest battles right now, wide receivers, even though we have a pretty good idea of who the 3 are, I still think there's a 4th that's kind of in that mix. The defensive backs, I think there's a battle going on there. Tight end 2, I don't know that it's going to be Henry when it's all said and done. I think Nathan Bax could end up taking that spot. And then I talked a little bit about Dalton Wagner. He's more or less locked down the right tackle spot. We thought, which is surprising because we thought Tykees Crawford was going to come in and take his job. Well, he's healthy. He's feeling good. He said he feels good. He talked to the media yesterday about that. He's feeling good. So what are they going to do with Crawford? He's going to play, and they want him on the right side of the line of scrimmage. And then I wrote linebacker rotation that we've seen has been interesting. Sanders finally worked with the ones. I actually said that today. Yeah. You guys, if you're Patreon supporters and you're in that Discord, you really need to link your accounts. I'll just say that. I'm giving you what I see. To be fair, the whole defense got picked on against Ole Miss last year. Well, yeah. There are several games where that happened. Late kick loves us Hogs. Yeah, he does. Josh Pate is pretty high on the Hogs. Greg McElroy interview with Pittman was great also. Has Greg McElroy put out his prediction yet? If anybody knows, I'd love to know that. Are Pig Heaven seats at Razorback Stadium good? I have no idea. I'm not entirely sure. So let's move on to the offense. Let's get on to what's going on the offensive side of the ball. What's going on with Malik Hornsby? This is where this has been the most. Oh, well, yeah. So, okay. AJ Green finally worked out with the twos yesterday. He was back with the threes. Dubinian, I think is how we're pronouncing his last name now. That's changed because I've heard other people call him differently. But Dubinian was in the mix. That's saying something, man. That's saying something. That dude could end up surprising some folks. I definitely wouldn't have guessed that he would get the majority of twos or work with the twos as much as he has up until this point. AJ Green is back out with the twos though, and he's progressing nicely, I think. I mean, clearly, if he's working with the twos. Warren Thompson stood out, and I mentioned that earlier. So it's called the drill is called low red zone drill. Is what I have. That may be a misprint. Low red zone drill. This is basically it's just wide receivers versus defensive backs. They'd line up, I think, 5 to 10 yards off the end zone, and they would run these little quick routes, whatever, little slant, little quick in and out routes, whatever. Warren Thompson completely cooked Hudson Clark, and I think he did that twice. I think he actually had a couple different times. I don't remember who was covering him the second time. It might have been Ladarius Bishop, who, by the way, once upon a time ago was considered one of the fastest players on this team. That's no longer the case. That tells you something. Team speed's picking up. So the wide receiver room, I'm starting. This is what I posted yesterday in Patreon. Again, in the Patreon room in our Discord. This is what I wrote yesterday. Let me find it. Probably help if I take these shades off. Everything's so dark. It's so dark. Where to go? So, yeah, this was yesterday or last night. I'll say it here first. Again, that was in Patreon, in our Discord. I think the idea coming into camp was that Hornsby was slowly transitioning to a wide receiver QB, more than just having set plays, right? Remember, when Sam Pittman talked about him coming out of the portal, one of the things they talked about was him lining up and playing more receiver. But as fall camp has progressed, they're discovering that the wideout room is actually flush full of speed and talent. And maybe they've always kind of known that, but the staff is now actually seeing it on the practice field, which is a big difference. Thus, Hornsby may not be as badly needed lining up at wide receiver as previously thought. Every single day, a different wide receiver is showing out, making big plays. Another thing that kind of stands out or makes you think a little bit on this subject, something that every single wide receiver has to do in this offense is block downfield. Can Hornsby do this? ? Hornsby is not a big, tough, physical guy. You don't have to be to block. I get that. I mean, you're talking about blocking 180-pound defensive backs. We're not talking about 250-pound defensive ends or 225-pound outside linebackers, but still, he's played quarterback his entire career. I talked with Otis Kirk and someone else about that, actually, and they said, as far as they know, since at least 9th grade, he's only played quarterback. Blocking downfield is a foreign – that is not something that he knows how to do. Also, he hasn't once been in the wide receiver room, which at this point, talking about Hornsby, which at this point is a head-scratcher. Remember, he was lining up with the twos at quarterback and then getting 15 extra reps with the ones at wide receiver at the beginning of fall camp, and not to mention what he was doing in spring camp. Sounds like that number may lower moving forward, but at the same time, they want him on the field as much as possible. It's the one thing that stands out to me is the Hornsby, I don't know if I want to call it it's not a dilemma, but the Hornsby situation with him playing wide receiver is even more curious now because you could hear it in Sam Pittman's tone. You could hear it between when they had Jaden Hazelwood. Who was it? Jaden Hazelwood and Katron Jackson. I was there. What? Of course, I should know that. But and even listening to Jalen Catalon, listening to the camaraderie at camp, listening to kind of the murmurs between the photographers and the guys taking video, videographers, is that what they're called? I don't know. Listening to other riders, it's pretty clear that the wide receiver room has, so far through fall camp, more talent and speed than we initially thought. You've heard a lot about Matt Landers. Matt Landers, I had no idea had that kind of speed, and we talked about that last time. The wide receiver room it's way, I think it's on the practice field. Okay, there's a difference between on the practice field and actually being out in a game, right? A week-to-week scenario during the season. So far on the field in camp, their receivers are balling out. Now, you could argue, well, now wait a minute, maybe their DBs are just that bad, and that absolutely could be the case. But you have to take into account the speed that we're talking about. And again, this is something that was going on in the media room. A couple guys were talking about. They have track speed. You gotta factor in Isaiah Centenia, right? You've got to factor in, what we've seen and what we've heard about with Matt Landers. You've had other wideouts during this camp have their moments, and it's been pretty spectacular. Jaden Wilson has really come on during camp. So the offense, I think the question is, Malik Hornsby, what's going to be his role? Now we know they're going to have set plays. He will line up at wide receiver. I'm not making the claim that they're not putting him out there at all. No, they want him and KJ on the field at the same time. I absolutely believe that. I think you'll see it. Hell, you'll probably see it against Cincinnati. They're going to have some packages. Maybe you won't. I don't know. Maybe they'll save them for conference play. But they're going to have some packages for Hornsby to come in and do something out of the wide receiver spot. Probably some double passes. I'm sure I could see that in his deck of cards, knowing Kendall Briles. But I think, again, the point being that the wide receiver room is a little bit further ahead than what they thought. I think the speed is there. The athleticism is there. The track speed is there. Now they just got to put it all together and put a good product on the field with those guys. It's going to start with those guys. The offensive line, you got to feel pretty good about. Luke Jones sounds like he's kind of nailing down the left tackle spot. Other than that, we really don't have a lot of information about what's going on at left tackle. But you've got 4 of your 5 guys back. Dalton Wagner's as healthy as he's ever been. Apparently he's having a pretty good camp. So much so that Tykees Crawford, I don't think he's worked with the ones at all, which, again, that's good for Dalton Wagner. Now, if only he'd cut back on the false starts. If only he'd cut back on the flags, we'll be perfect. So, I think Arkansas's receivers so far, I'm just saying, so far, I think their wide receivers are in damn good shape. It's one thing to do it in practice. It's something else entirely if you can do it, if you could put it together during the season. Landers has stood out so far in this camp. Again, they just keep bragging on the guy's speed. Jaden Wilson has stood out. Centenia's been mentioned, just talking about his speed. But Landers also dropped a lot of passes playing for the Bulldogs. Okay. How long ago was that? Maybe that is his problem. I don't know. Maybe that's his issue. Maybe he drops balls. I don't know. I've not heard that from camp. If KJ doesn't go in the draft, I guarantee you Hornsby hits the portal. I wonder how Outley has looked as a tight end. Dude, I have not seen him. I will say, so my first day at camp, I got to see Trey Knox quite a bit. And Trey Knox was struggling. This was not full pads. Was this Friday? I think it was Friday. He was struggling with that heat, but they all were. Everybody was struggling with that heat. But he says he's fine, carrying around. What did he say he weighs? 240, 245? Outley, I'll tell you this much. At this point, unless he has a pretty dramatic turnaround, I don't know. Outley, I think, is he's got a ways to go. He's still dealing with some things. With injuries, not anything off the field, just injuries. He's dealing with some stuff there. I agree. His junior film, Outley's junior film, was incredible. I really hate it for that guy. I hope he gets it turned around. At the moment, I would be surprised if he even cracked the 3 deep. In fact, I think the tight end we're not talking enough about is Ty Washington. Ty Washington could be an absolute beast. He's already had a couple. He had at least a day where that's all anybody wanted to talk about was Ty Washington. Scroll down here. Yeah, Ty Washington, 6'4", 220 out of Leesburg, Georgia. Played at Lee County High School. I always forget where he's from. I always forget that he's from Georgia. But let's see. Secret weapon situation with Landers. He'll give us some north to south stretch, hopefully. Yeah, I think they're going to have a couple of guys that are going to be able to stretch the field. I keep wanting to say stretch the floor. I think they're going to have a couple of guys stretch the field, absolutely. And Landers, I think that's who Otis might have been talking about, saying that he's not a 50-50 jump ball guy. It's more like 75-25. I may have to clarify with Otis, but I think that's who Otis was talking about when we were in the media room. Something that he kind of had a knack for was going up and grabbing those jump balls. Is Bryce Stevens getting any looks? Yeah. Pretty sure. If I missed it, again, I've only gotten a good, maybe yesterday was the most I've seen of the wide receivers. That's the most I've seen of the wide receivers was yesterday. Ty Washington was looking good. Yeah. Nathan Bax has made a nice couple of plays. Yeah. Landers had a habit of letting misses get into his head at Georgia, but that was 3 years ago. And judging from last year, he's matured beyond that. Yeah, and you're getting a veteran. That's what's great about the portal, though, right? You're getting these guys that have been around for a minute, and he's played in the SEC. Brody wants to know about who's returning kicks and punts this year. So punt return, I think Bryce Stevens was someone that was mentioned. Man, Pittman had his day one. He talked about this. I have those notes somewhere, and I have already forgotten what he said. Hang on. Yeah, Bryce Stevens, Jaden Hazelwood, and he mentioned Slusher as punt return. Kick return, he's talked about Ladarius Bishop, AJ Green, and Centennia. Remember, we interviewed him here, and we talked about that. Would you be willing to return punts and kicks? And he said, sure. So Centennia is willing to do it on kick return. So those were some names that were thrown out there. I guess the staff, the special team staff, they had to be joking when they brought this up to Sam Pittman, but they asked about Rocket Sanders returning kicks, and Pittman said, no, I threw that idea out. So, yeah, Hazelwood was the surprising one of that bunch, talking about punt return, but I'm pretty sure that's what he said. Go back. That was that Thursday when he talked to the media about that? Someone go back and watch. I swear he said Jaden Hazelwood, but I have it written here. Bryce Stevens returned some punts last year, and I'd always heard Slusher was someone that they wanted to flirt around with returning punts, so he could. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen him do that. I do remember that interview, Ty. It kind of made me show a bit of bias in his favor. Centennia seems like a down-to-earth, hard worker. Apparently, Pat Jenkins was talking about him. Pat, he's a former Purple Dog and covers the games at Fayetteville, and he said there's nothing that guy won't do. You ask him to block downfield, he'll do it. I've heard the same thing, and I've talked to him a little bit here and there. I get the gist that he's excited about being a Razorback, and he's going to do whatever they ask him to do. I'm really excited for Isaiah Centennia. The speed absolutely shows. The speed shows, apparently. He did catch. Did you guys see late in those drills, he beat Jalen Catalon? I don't know what route he ran. I need to go back and watch, and I swear I forgot who posted that. It wasn't Pictorial Nation, but the video was out there, and he beats Jalen Catalon. Go back and watch, man. It's there. I promise. Love the shades. Love the shades by the big time. That's right. Thank you. They match. Shout out to Tim. He's not in here, but yeah, they match. Oh, I thought you were calling me big time. Okay. I thought you were paying me like an awesome compliment calling me big time, and I was just rolling with it, Brody. But thank you. I appreciate it. That's crazy. He's not insanely big, but the fact that he's willing to do all that, big props. Yeah, talking about Centennia. Yep. Catalan also got an interception against him. Now that I missed. I didn't see that. Against, are you talking about against Centennia, Johnny? I didn't see that, but hey, of course he did because it's Catalan, right? We are, yep. We're closing in, guys. We're closing in. Oh my gosh, preseason football. We've got the Rams tomorrow playing the Chargers. Preseason football. I have a hard time. It's preseason football. It's nice to have it. I'm definitely going to try and catch it for sure. Yeah, I heard. So Catalan, that play, I think he was up against Jaden Hazelwood. That was right in front of me. That was like 10 feet in front of me. Catalan got up and yeah, had some choice words, but he was laughing, big old smile on his face the whole time. You could tell the guys look up to Jalen Catalan. Absolutely. Yeah, Burks got targeted one time. That's unfortunate. I hope he proves those people wrong in the hate that he's getting and the narrative that they're spinning. National media, what the national media is, the bullshit narrative they're spinning about him. How about putting Malik Hornsby on kick? No, you don't want to get him hurt, man. You're already risking it, putting him out there at wide receiver, Shaheed. You want to put him at kick return? I don't know if I'd want to do that, my man. But he is electric. That guy takes up 10 yards fast. Yeah, Willis. So their own coach said they pulled him because he wasn't throwing the ball. Damn. What's up, Haas? How you doing, man? What's going on? The Twitter hate on Burks is crazy. They did the same thing with Jamar Chase last year after the first preseason game. Just saying. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I think we've kind of covered most of everything. Let me scroll up here. Did we leave anything out? Jaden Wilson, talking about Jaden Wilson really quick in this offense. Jaden Wilson has really come on during fall camp. And I wrote here, in fact, name a random wideout they've likely either stood out or outright been bragged on by other players or coaches, talking about the receiving room. And media as well. The vibe I'm getting from fall camp is that Hornsby may not really be as badly needed as first thought coming into fall camp playing wide receiver. Now, it's anybody's guess what they do with him. Listen, they do stuff. They have an entire, hour plus where we don't get to see anything at all. We don't get to see anything. Who knows what's really happening? All we could report to you is what little 20 minutes, 25 minutes that we get to see. And so who knows? Maybe this is all a bunch of BS, and really what's going on, they're going to line up Malik Hornsby, and they've made the permanent move to wide receiver for him, and they're just leading us along. Who knows? But based on what we've seen, what I've seen, I'm just getting the vibe that they don't feel like he's as needed. I do think they're still going to run set plays with him out there. And it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds. So, all right, I got to take these off. These are really dark. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I'm blinded by the light. Ah! Oh, my God. All right. Maybe I should put them back on. Wow. Holy crap. What a week it's been. I do appreciate you guys. Shout out to the show's sponsor. You guys that are here, thank you guys so much. You never know. It's definitely it's definitely a tactic worth mentioning. Yeah, and by the way, Sam definitely puts a lot of he wants every advantage he can get, and I don't blame him for that at all. I don't blame him for that at all. So he doesn't want the media, he knows we have a job to do. The U of A knows we have a job to do, but I get wanting to keep a lot, behind closed doors. I get it. I get it. I'm all for it. If that means Arkansas, if that means I get to, celebrate as much as we did last year. Oh my gosh, post-game shows were wild. They're going to be wild. All post-game shows are going to be on Hogville Net YouTube. I'm really looking forward to that. Have any walk-ons stood out? No. I mean, I'm trying to think. Woodard, who's not a walk-on anymore, he was I think he worked out a little bit with the twos. I want to say, I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. Any walk-ons? I'm sure there have, and I'm just, maybe I'm a little bit behind in my reporting. Heard KJ injured his foot on one of them. I don't know anything about that. Who knows, man? The injury stuff, again, it goes back to the tactics thing, right? And it goes back to what they're willing to say publicly. But I've not heard that. I'll say that. I've not heard anything about KJ hurting his foot. I have no idea. The Texas and LSU postgame shows were my favorites. Texas was amazing. That was a fun time. I didn't want to stop that postgame. That was a lot of fun. Make sure you guys go over to Hogville Net YouTube, subscribe, turn on the notification bell. We've got more content coming. So, yeah. We will be, again, 12 o'clock. We're going to do 12:30 is the game 3 in Europe, and Kevin McPherson and I will have a post-game show. What's up, Scott Swindle? How you doing, man? Kevin McPherson and I will have a post-game show. So, all right. I appreciate you guys. I will be back next week, or I'll see you over on Hogville Net. I'm sure this weekend on the 13th. I'll see you over there. Great week. Sam Pittman said it. I think he had said that yesterday was a great practice for full pads. So that's good to hear. We're getting some positivity from the big man himself, from the head coach. So hopefully they continue that right throughout the rest of fall camp, and they get ready. They go in with the right state of mind into Cincinnati prep week. So, and also a reminder, on the 29th, we are resetting all XP, and we're playing for money in our Discord, in the Tuss Talk Discord. Haas, do you have that link are you still in here? My one and only moderator? I got to get more mods, don't I? I don't know if he's still in here. Let me give you guys the link here. I think Haas had to duck out. Let me pull this up. If you're not in, you need to be in. We're resetting. Again, that's on the 29th. You watch. I'm going to paste this, and he's going to. Well, there it is. Join our Discord. Come on in. Come on in. Come join. And if you're a Patreon member, or if you're curious about joining, that link is provided for you down below. Or if you're on our Discord as well, you can click on the join Patreon. You click on that page in our Discord, and there's a link provided for you. Oh, there it is. See, Haas. But yeah, you have access to a exclusive Patreon page where I give you guys. You have access to the prospect meter, where how I'm feeling about a certain prospect. You have access to the prospect meter, and then you have access to the Patreon members page, where I just kind of talk about some other stuff. It'll go there first. I'm trying to make a habit of that, making sure that everything that I see in camp and kind of whatever's on my mind, I'm posting in there. So, yeah. All right. I think we covered it all. Like the video, share the content, subscribe if you haven't already. Woo pig.